we know that you're the man that is very dependable, who's very disciplined, who, what I'm saying, is a man of his word in public. But who are you when nobody's watching? You know, we always see people who they are in public, but behind closed doors when nobody's watching, when it's you and God, who are you when nobody's watching? Right? Are your habits still the same? Right? Are you still doing what you supposed to be doing? You know what I'm saying? When nobody's around, when it's you and God, because God sees everything. God sees everything when you're around people. God sees everything when you by yourself. And a lot of people in society nowadays forget that, right? We think we can be good in front of everybody in public, on the internet, but their habits, the stuff they're doing behind the scenes, you know what I'm saying? It might be different from what they're doing in public. So so that's something you have to ask yourself. Are you still doing what you're supposed to do in private? Right? You know what I'm saying? And the older I get, I had to understand that, bro, it all starts what you do when nobody's watching. That's where it all starts. It starts with you and God. It starts with you're doing behind closed door when nobody's watching, when there's nobody around, right? That's why it's important to focus on yourself, man. It's important to learn how to be alone, right? That's why I always make sure that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm making sure I'm holding myself accountable before I hold anybody else accountable, right? You know what I'm saying? You have to practice what you preach. You know what I'm saying? With my fitness, you know what I'm saying? Even though I'm in the fitness industry, right? I have to make sure I'm in the gym, you know what I'm saying? Before I try to, get clients and making sure I'm telling them what to do, you know what I'm saying? Being on a structured workout plan, making sure they're on a structured meal plan, you know what I'm saying? To help them reach their goals. I have to make sure I'm on my stuff too. I got to make sure I'm in the gym, right? I know I don't have the craziest physique, but my physique is decent enough to, help others, right? You know what I'm saying? And I still have a lot, still have a bunch of body fat I want to lose, right? But I feel like I'm good enough, I feel like I have a decent physique, you know what I'm saying, be able to help others, right? Because if I'm fat and out of shape, right, even though I know what I'm talking about, even though I got a certification, you know what I'm saying, people still not going to trust me. They still not going to listen to me because I don't look the part, bro. And that's human nature. You know what I'm saying? People care about results. They don't care about, you know what I'm saying? They don't care. They care about the results. You know what I'm saying? Why would I listen? Like me personally, bro, I want to look like somebody that's in shape or at least has a decent physique. You know what I'm saying? They don't have to be a bodybuilder, but they got to be in shape for me to listen to them because I want to look like that, right? You know what I'm saying? I don't want to look like nobody that's fat and out of shape. You know what I'm saying? So before, like when I got in this industry, I knew I wasn't in the best shape. I'm like, damn, you know what I'm saying? I'm looking at all these other fitness, influencers. Most of them are in shape, and there's some influencers that aren't in shape either. But you know what I'm saying? Even though they know what they're talking about, they still have to be in shape because people are going to listen to whose body is the best, who has the best body. And that's the harsh reality. Nobody cares about, you having a certification. Nobody cares about, that you know what you're talking about. They don't care about that. They care about the results, man. So, that's not just with fitness, that's with anything in life, right? If you have a business, bro, if you know what I'm saying, if you have a business, bro, are you, even though you're giving out value, you know what I'm saying, are you still able to, learn every day? You know what I'm saying? Continue to perfect your craft every day. You know what I'm saying? Are you still, you know what I'm saying? Are you still doing the things you need to be doing behind closed doors? Right? Because like I said earlier, man, God sees everything, bro. A lot of people think they get in the way with things that they be doing behind closed doors and doesn't think that God be watching, right? People be hating on other people talking behind people's backs. And God doesn't hear or see that. You know what I'm saying? The plotting they try to do against people, try to plot against other people to try to take them out, and God doesn't see that. God, you know what I'm saying? What goes around comes around, right? And you know what I'm saying? And in society nowadays, thinks they can just get away with it. Nah, it don't work like that, bro. You got to be good in all areas of your life, right? Even with church. Like, I'm gonna use church as an example too. Like, people, but I'm gonna use church as an example, right? I used to go to church, right? I used to be a deacon, right, or a junior deacon. I used to be a deacon, right, or you know what I'm saying, for my church. And I used to think that everybody that goes to church were good people. You know what I'm saying? Or everybody that goes to church has good habits. You know what I'm saying? Even though they're not in church. But I beg to differ. You know what I'm saying? As I get older, that's not the case. A lot of people be smoking and drinking. You know what I'm saying? They be cursing people out, be doing people dirty. But then they want to go to church on Sunday and praise the Lord. But you forgot about your other sins you've been doing throughout the whole week, right? You know what I'm saying? Right? And don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect either, right? I'm not perfect. That's why personally I don't really go to church like I used to. Like, I'll go on occasions, but I don't go to church every Sunday like I used to. You know what I'm saying? My pops, for example, like, he goes to church every Sunday. But even him going to church every Sunday, he still got good habits. He's still a good man outside of church, right? He doesn't, drink or smoke. He don't be out here partying. You know what I'm saying? He carries himself well outside of them doors, right? And that's what he tried to instill in me growing up. You know what I'm saying? Because I could have went down the path where I could have gone down the path of me doing the wrong things, and then, you know what I'm saying, I could have gone down a bad path, right? Don't get me wrong. So I'm not perfect either. You know what I'm saying? But we all make mistakes. We all gonna make mistakes. We all gonna F up, bro. You know what I'm saying? We all gonna F up. That's human nature. But it's all about you learning from that, right? So, but that's what I'm saying, man. But my point is, man, you have to be good even when nobody's watching. You have to make sure you're doing good habits, when nobody's watching, right? Because that's what matters. It starts because what's in the dark eventually comes into light, right? I'm gonna say that again. What you do in the dark eventually is gonna come into light, right? With your eating habits, right? I'm not gonna lie. I don't have the best eating habits, right? Every now and then I be still going, eating McDonald's, or I go to Raising Cane's every now and then. You know what I'm saying? I'm not the best, and I always been like that. I ain't gonna lie. I always had a bad diet. I didn't have the perfect diet growing up. I tried to emulate things into my life, into my diet, right? You know what I'm saying? But I always didn't have the best diet, right? Even still this day, I still don't have the best diet, right? You know what I'm saying? But now I've calmed down on the eating. I was eating the McDonald's and things like that. I've eaten more like Greek yogurts, eating more drinking more protein shakes, getting my protein in, getting the right amount of carbs in, tracking my foods, right? You know what I'm saying? I don't go crazy like I used to, right? Even though I still don't have the best diet, right? But I've managed that now. I'll put that. That's probably the best way I'll describe it. I've managed that. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm an online fitness coach, I can't be doing the things that I used to do. There's a lot of discipline I have to have in myself now, right? You know what I'm saying? Discipline, you know what I'm saying? Discipline, it starts with fitness, right? And fitness is something I'm into, so I really got to make sure I'm on my P's and Q's, right? So, because I'm an online fitness coach, so I got to make sure I'm still on my stuff. But yeah, man, it starts with what you do in the dark, man. It starts with nobody's watching. That's where it all starts. You know what I'm saying? Are you praying every day, right? You know what I'm saying? Are you reading? Are you journaling? Are you doing these things when nobody's watching? Because, so because if your habits, what you do in the dark, is going to eventually come out, right? It's going to eventually come out. So you gotta build those build a daily routine for yourself every day, right? So you can conquer the day. You know what I'm saying? And all, making your bed, bro, doing all these good, building all these good habits. So, you know what I'm saying, you eventually, you know what I'm saying, and then, you just start your day right. So start doing having good habits when nobody's watching, because that's where it all starts, brother. Right? All right, so you become the man, becoming the best man that you can be. All right. But that's all I got for the video, man. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.